Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PAASE for Philippine Innovation Fireside Chat series. I'm Gisela Concepcion, co-host of this series, and I'm currently serving as an executive member of the National Innovation Council. And PAASE, Philippine American Academy of Science and Engineering, is committed to support the government's initiatives on innovation. And in this series, which has been running for over 2.5 months, we are showcasing the innovators who are already working very hard to benefit the Philippine society. And today, we have a very special guest. He is an esteemed professor of the UP College of Medicine, and he was recently elected and appointed the Chancellor of UP Manila. So Dr. Micheal T is somebody whom I appreciate very much for all his efforts to bring technology, high-level technology to UP Manila for application in a very special area, and that is in health. He's been involved in mental health of students and staff, especially during the pandemic. And today, he'll talk to us about how to use the latest, most pervasive technology that pervades, surrounds us, which is artificial intelligence, for a very humane and very important application with a great social impact. And at this point, I would like to call on my co-host. This is Dr. Alvin Culaba, distinguished professor from De La Salle University, professor of mechanical engineering, vice president of the National Academy of Science and Technology, and served as a past president of PAASE, just like myself. Also a very innovative person. So at this point, let me ask Dr. Culaba to introduce our guest speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Giselle. Thank you very much, Dr. Giselle. Good morning, everyone. Indeed, we are honored and privileged to have this morning in our PAASE Fireside Chat series for Philippine Innovation. He is the newly appointed Chancellor of the University of the Philippines, Manila, a doctor of internal medicine, rheumatology. Our distinguished speaker was the UP Manila Vice Chancellor for Planning and Development prior to his appointment as the 12th UP Manila Chancellor. Before his appointment as well as Vice Chancellor in 2014, he served as Assistant to the Philippine General Hospital and Director for Public Affairs and PGH spokesperson from 2004 to 2010. A scientist, he's been an editor-in-chief of the UP Manila Journal in the various issues between 2010 and 2014. Was also the director of the UP Manila Information, Publication, and Public Affairs Office from 2011 to 2015. A medical doctor earned his BS Biology in UP Liman in 1993, his Doctor of Medicine in UP Manila in 1992, his Master in Health Profession Education in UP Manila in 2007, and then Master in Business Administration in UP Liman in 2015. He was part of the breakthrough international clinical trial that paved the way for the registration of the rheumatoid arthritis drug, similarly affecting emphysema, but at less than a third of the cost. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Professor Dr. Micheal D. Dr. D. Associates.
Yes, sir. Uh, Good morning, everyone. Good evening also to our participants who are in other parts of the world. I'd like to thank PAASE, President Mariano, Dr. Mariano Santo Domingo, and Professor Emeritus Dr. Gisela Concepcion, as well as distinguished Professor Alvin Culaba for this invitation and be able to talk about healthcare at the time of AI. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the people who have influenced my journey in artificial intelligence and the many advice they gave me, particularly Dr. Jaime D. Caro, Dr. Geoffrey Solano, and Dr. Emanuel Aliana. I'll be talking about the AI in general, as well as some researches that our group, the Axel, has been doing. So let me start. And before we look at the local scene of AI, I'd like to inform you that there was a recent executive order on safe, secure, and trustworthy AI by the US President Biden on October 30, 2023. Imagine, this is how important it is that an executive order has to be made. And healthcare is part of this AI executive order. Requires developers of the most powerful AI to share systems safety test results, because there is a threat, the possibility that AI can be used to harm. So it should be that tests that will show serious risks to national security, especially on public health, be shared, and that this be addressed immediately. Standing up for consumers, patients, and students. We are all educators, and education should also benefit from AI. So it's said that AI potential should be looked into, create resources to support educators developing AI-enabled educational tools. And again, in healthcare, advance the responsible use of AI in healthcare. In fact, it tells us to establish a safety program. This is consistent with any healthcare intervention or any healthcare development. Safety, primum non nocere. Catalyze AI research across the United States through pilot of the National AI Research Resource. Expand grants for AI research in vital areas like healthcare. So many of you here are researchers, and this is something that we can take advantage of. I am sure that after this executive order, there will be an avalanche of calls for proposals, and this would be something that we all can co-create and collaborate with. Privacy is a priority. Protect Americans' privacy by use of privacy-preserving techniques. Strengthen privacy-preserving research and the guidelines for privacy-preserving technique. So despite all of the advances in AI and the use of large databases, library of information, privacy should remain a priority. Healthcare is different. In reality, healthcare is a person-to-person interaction, and empathy, compassion, emotional support, giving of hope, and nonverbal communication, they are all important aspects of healthcare. I am a clinician. I'm first and foremost a clinician, and I should know how to read the body language, facial expression, and the tone of voice of the patient I'm taking care of. Maybe in the next decade, AI can do that. But in the meantime, let's look at healthcare as a person-to-person interaction. It is in this context that we will look at AI now and how it can be optimally deployed to enhance this person-to-person interaction, improving health outcome, patient experience, and access to healthcare services. We know that big data analytics has the potential to improve public health risk analysis, stratification, and policy decisions. This can be done in communities using multiple data sources integrated into one potentially predictive model. Global health security is something that is a very hot topic now, and we can enhance data collection, data visualization of field epidemiology data and zoonotic surveillance by simplifying a real-time alert system to trigger outbreak response and prevent future pandemic. So that what we call a 7321 or 737 will be identify within 7 days, report within 1 to 3 days, and then react within 7 days. Potential diagnostic tools, including image analysis when there are very few experts in image analysis, genetic testing can be augmented using machine learning. And when I talk about diagnostic tools, these are like the MRI, CT scan, ultrasound data, or even X-rays. When you have to look at voluminous data, then maybe AI has the potential to assist in the diagnosis of patients in far-flung area, especially in the era of universal healthcare, where we want people to have access to healthcare, immediate access. And if they do the MRI or CT scan, this can be immediately processed so that our radiologists will have an easier time looking at the most common findings, saving them time, and they are able to focus better on the deeper and more difficult things to look at. AI in healthcare, we need to reduce variability in care, improve precision, accelerate discovery, and reduce disparity. With these 7 goals, maybe we really can use AI. And that maybe you will have to decide whether it's a yes or a no after my presentation. So the outline will be benefits. Benefits in health education, public health, diagnostic tools, personalized treatment, predictive models, and e-governance. For education, a grant from the Commission on Higher Education allowed us to look at simulation-based education. This one, drilling. Who's not afraid of a dentist drilling your tooth? Even before that starts, hitting your tooth, nangingilo ka na. And you want, therefore, our students to learn that before they practice in the profession, before they train among real patients. So this will allow them to feel like they are drilling real tooth, when in fact they are drilling on air. Yes, they are drilling on air. I was drilling on air then, but I can feel like there's a bump, there's grit, there's texture in what I'm doing. Aside from that, because here on your right side there are multiple computer screens, the faculty can see what you're doing as you are seeing them using this video, and they can even look at how deep, how shallow, how concentrated you are in an area. So this is AI. This mannequin we now have in the UP College of Medicine and College of Nursing, but this was taken during our training in Singapore. That mannequin can react. It can die, it can live, it can have increased heart rate, decreased heart rate, increased breathing rate, and it can even scream in pain. So while we were doing this, the mannequin was screaming, ah, ah. So you're able, and the moment you do something that is going to hurt it, it will react as if it's really a patient. This will require maybe some suspended belief or a what we call agreeing to disbelieve that this is just a mannequin, but what you will see on the monitors would help you. And this is again technology-driven education. Now, in public health, this is an example of a remote emerging disease intelligent network where you have multiple areas where you have biosurveillance going into a single server, allowing you to predict outbreaks. Many of you may be computer scientists here, but let me try to explain this in the language that a clinician would know. A ReadyNet mobile app where you can input, a web-based application where you can see what you're inputting, also external data sets that are available, and a cloud-based storage where you can store and retrieve data. And then you can visualize. It's important that policymakers are able to visualize. So while we are gathering data here on the left side with inputs from scientists who are epidemiologists, then the output should be simplified. Simplified so that executives can easily use the data and act on the data. We attempted to do that. No, this is One Health Worker innovation in early detection of human, animal, and plant disease outbreak. We did this with the University of California, Davis. It is for aiding in the providing of surveillance coverage, easily scaled, and includes numerous human, animal, plant, and management issues that impact community and the nation. So you can just screenshot this. This is available online, published. And this tells us that this technology can be the virtual One Health Worker, meaning our animal specialists, human specialists, so specialists in the field of care of animals, veterinarians, specialists in the field of human medicine, and then environmentalists can just input in their own silos. But this app will technically integrate everything and create a common output. Now, for diagnostic tools, AI has been there. Natural language processing, image recognition, human-computer interaction, and machine learning. In this publication, there is already a system where you can look at X-ray and it will tell you that there is atelectasis, meaning collapsed lungs, cardiomegaly, a big heart, effusion, water in the lungs, infiltration, meaning there's a white here, and that's probably pneumonia. Also here, pneumonia. This infiltration can be interstitial lung disease if you see that in the right and in the left, then the prediction is strengthened that it may be ILD. Tumors like this will be interpreted as mass, and an air here or maybe darkening in the field will be interpreted as pneumothorax. So immediately after X-ray, even the technician will be able to read the AI and alert the clinician to confirm it. So that's how it can be used. AI in clinical diagnosis of lung cancer is already a working product. The usual input, image, language capture, and then machine learning with AI as an interpreter. Another is language image processing. This is how it's done. And then analysis. The output should be an interpretable output. Can we do that? Well, we are trying to do that, and we submitted a proposal with the DOST for this clinical landing and federated learning on medical imaging AI on brain tumors. So this is our team. Again, Dr. Caro will be here, neurologist, neurosurgeon, radiologist, and computer scientist. The key points would be medical imaging uses MRI for organ visualization, but there are very few radiologists who are experts on neuro MRI imaging. So this is a collaboration with Taiwan, and if this is approved, then we'll be able to do that by next year. It affects 100,000 patients in the Philippines. Early detection is critical, and MRI is something that is necessary for accurate diagnosis. But in areas where you do not have neuroradiologists, it will take time. You will have to bring the image via the digital image and send it to areas, health centers where we have the experts who can read that. So in this, AI can automate measurements and interpretation, and that is a potential application in various healthcare area. It can be used to enhance efficacy, time efficiency, and resource optimization. Because after you see that, then you can immediately schedule the patient for consultation with the appropriate specialist. You'll be able to look at benign versus malignant because you have to prioritize malignant. And you can also look at different tumor types. So you can plan immediately. How to do that? We use the library of images from MRI counterbalance with the pathology results. And with that, you'll have the image and the gold standard, which is pathology, and then a clinical or surgical note. That's why you also need the natural language analysis for this. With federated learning, we address privacy concern for medical imaging. It decentralizes and secures your training so that the data in the Philippines, which will be very important for our own interpretation, will be separate from that of the Taiwanese images. They will not have access with the Philippine data. We don't have access in their data. And but the system for analyzing these images will be common. So validation will be done collaboratively, and then the potential outcome will be automated brain tumor analysis with improved clinical workflow. For personalized treatment, an immersive technology application for healthcare is being done in the Augmented Experience eHealth Laboratory we have in UP Manila. This is in the second floor of Joaquin Gonzalez compound. This was conceptualized maybe 3-4 years ago, and we had 2 projects for cerebral palsy, which is the VR for pediatric patients with cerebral palsy, and elderly patients with behavioral and psychological symptoms of dementia. Now, Juan, for instance, has a cerebral palsy, and he has to go to the healthcare facility for rehabilitation. We looked at this in 2019, and then pandemic hit us, became more important because now one cannot go to the centers for care. He has to still go for rehabilitation. And the standard of care for cerebral palsy would include botulinum toxin, goal-directed training, mobility training. Many of these will really have to be done in the centers. But goal-directed training, mobility training, strength training, adaptive equipment use, these are some things that we can do at home. So immersive technology has to be enjoyable. It has to be therapeutic. And in this therapeutic, we have to provide a realistic simulation. Safe environment where they can explore and move, and they have to enjoy. And in our experience, gamification is a way to do that. Pilot randomized clinical trial was done, and this was, of course, approved by the Research Ethics Board of the UP Manila, headed by Professor Mantaring, who I saw just entered the room. Sir, welcome. It improves mobility of the upper and lower extremities and improve postural control. This is what we did. Requirement analysis, our rehabilitation specialists, our neurologists, our pediatrician, and our allied medical profession Dean Marily Aguila was there together with us as I'm a musculoskeletal practitioner. So with this focus group discussion, we looked at how we can address it and then created a prototype and then tested it. This is how it looked in the VR, and really this is the reality. You're on a treadmill, you're walking, you have something on your head, a head-mounted device, and this is what you see. If you want to try it, we invite you in our Axel laboratory. Requirement, it has to be cheap, safe, and available. Head-mounted devices then was about 20,000. Now it's cheaper. Substantial knowledge on cerebral palsy and improve patient adherence, facilitate carryover of skill. What you do there has to be something that you can also do without the VR. Requirement, activity-based. Has to be an activity. It should be fun. And is it really, this is what we thought is necessary. And then later I'll show you whether our thoughts are validated. So this is mission to planet Jika. So when you go to the planet, you'll have an avatar customization. This is how you can look, but you can change that to look something like this. So you'll see yourself as if you're a robot or you'll have that companion robot. You can look like him or you can look better than him. And then you'll play a bowling game. This bowling game, of course, will have to be gradually adjusted. So you hit the alien, maybe the alien will come 1 every 2 seconds because you're just starting. And then later on, the level will increase so that you can now find aliens every second or every half a second. And then the ball will come to you because remember, you're looking at mobility. Maybe the ball will just be in a very near you. But later on, you'll be doing this. So that increases range of motion. And it can be AI generated, meaning as your extent increases, then it will have to bring the ball further away, make the ball even heavier. These are the maps that we use. And in testing the application, you would like to know what kind of poster they'd like to see so that they'll be more enticed. And true enough, in application testing, the words fun, exciting, and challenging are important in acceptability by the patients. In other focus group discussion, they really found the bowling game enjoyable. Instructions have to be clear, but there's muffled sound. So we adjusted the sound after. The virtual environment, they want minimal flashing of lights. The doors need to be more distinct. So these are learnings on how we can improve. So what I'm showing you now is when you do a game, you do focus group discussion with the end user being children, and then also the caregiver, as well as our rehab specialist. This focus group discussion also tells us that they found a virtual companion to be helpful because this allows for, if you cannot be intuitive, then at least someone inside will be teaching you how to navigate. Potential benefits, felt the game would help patients with CP and be able to motivate their participation. If they do that at home and then you entice them that in the center there's more, and then there would be the usual non-virtual reality, then attendance in the in the center can be enhanced. Next iteration will just improve the other areas where we learned. And this is an ongoing clinical trial now, including the iteration. Now, for elderly patients with psychological symptoms, there are symptoms of agitation, delusion, hallucination, depression, irritability, and anxiety. Treatment is pharmacologic, but their side effects are, side effects can be something that will limit the way you treat them. And so, we looked at the virtual reality. This is Dr. Micheal L. She's the head of dementia and I forgot really. No joke. She's expert in managing forgetfulness. And this is reminiscence therapy as well as activity. In this game, we will attempt to bring situations. This is a semi-cave. On the right is a semi-cave system. On the left is head-mounted device. So these two can be used. But how can that be AI or personalized? You can give your old videos. You can put your old pictures so that these games can now input your own personal family valuable information. So we'll get that, input that in the game, and make a personalized game for that patient. So this will have to be coordinated properly with the family. So you don't want to be putting pictures of people that patients would hate, patients do not like to remember. So it has to be carefully planned. And this can be used for mild to moderate dementia and improve the quality of life of our patients. Requirement analysis, also guided experience, proper orientation, and reorientation. This is what we did. Bahay Kubo, Rizal Park, and a house with this map. And then the features. Painting activity, games, changing clothes, traffic. We include traffic and also your usual activities. And here, pictures. It has to be relaxing. Look at the view. It should be nostalgic, feeling intimate, and being seated. So those are features that we are incorporating in the clinical trial. So we are now in the phase 3 of this study. Sound has to be calming, pleasant, and at this time is described as not yet endearing. So when we ask them, how would you describe? Many said it's colorful, nostalgic. We really want nostalgia because that's personal. We want AI to be very personal in this setting. So those are two application in healthcare. But there's also predictive model. How can you predict illness? We have done some studies on SLE. I'm a rheumatologist, so SLE is really something that I love working on. And there is explainable machine learning applied to a SNP for SLE prediction. We looked at the 8 SNPs, 2 of which have been registered for patent, and we have the notice of allowance already from the patent office. And we noted that with these 8 SNPs, we have a predictive model that will allow us to look at what we call a receiving operating curve of up to 87% or 88.46% of predictability for the development of systemic lupus erythematosus. This is the first and the biggest genetic study here in the Philippines. Looking at lupus low disease activity, this is the new thing that we have been doing together with the APLC, the Asia Pacific Lupus Collaboration. And we have 42,000 visits among 4,000 lupus patients. This is the biggest database of lupus looking at the initial diagnosis, you see, to diagnose lupus requires combination, meaning you have immunologic, clinical, and laboratory findings. And with that, there will be a need to monitor. And to taper treatment requires a very precise way of looking at what if you decrease medication? Will it rebound to a worse disease manifestation? Because if it does, then you should be very careful in withdrawing the patient's medications. But you also cannot give steroids, prednisone for a long time. Or you cannot give immunosuppressants beyond its necessary time point. Otherwise, the patient will be immunosuppressed, and that can result to development of infection as well as the usual known excuse me, the usual known complications of steroids like cataract, glaucoma, diabetes, obesity, and the more difficult to pronounce, a vascular necrosis of the femoral neck. Now, e-governance. For e-governance, it is important that you have models that would take into account ethical concerns, AI bias, especially with the library that you're using. You might have bias, privacy. That should be important and be a focus, just like the executive order of US President Biden. Because without privacy, physicians and patients will not trust the system. It should conform to regulatory requirement and must be integrative in nature. So with that, I hope I was able to show you the glimpse of how AI can be utilized even in this healthcare industry. Healthcare that can be assisted by technology but cannot be replaced by technology because doctors need to touch their patients. And I firmly believe that. That's why even at the height of the restrictions, I never had that's just me, but I never had a telemedicine consultation. I always made it a point to see my patients wearing the proper PPE, touching them, looking them at their eyes, and then asking them face to face how they feel and reassuring with a compassionate way of treating our patients, because patients would really want you to do that. So good morning, and again, thank you for this opportunity to present our works on healthcare at the time of AI. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr. T.
Michael.
Excellent.
Congratulations. Alvin, would you like to speak first? Alvin?
Hello?
Or,
Oh, yes,
yeah,
yes.
Alvin. Will I speak
Yes,
first or
thank
will
you,
you do
thank
it?
you, Giselle. Very interesting, and I'm
Yes.
really impressed with
Yeah.
the work,
Actually,
that. Sorry,
Alvin,
go ahead, Giselle.
your sound has a bit of an echo or a big echo. Okay, your sound. How about mine? Is mine clear?
Yeah,
Okay, Michael,
yes,
congratulations.
I
Thank
can
you.
hear you clearly.
Yes, I have been aware of the interest of Dr. Michael for years now, beginning with his One Health research program under the PICARI funding of the CHED in collaboration with UC Davis. And clearly his interest is really wide and broad. Alvin, could you please mute because of the sound that I think it's creating? Just a moment. So anyway, all right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Michael, so I like the way you have presented your programs led by UP Manila, and the applications are really comprehensive, and for health as well as for other areas of concern and development in human society and in the environment. We know that the strategies are always of the following categories. One would be a diagnostic, okay, investigation of the situation. The other would be a therapeutic action on the problem. Okay? And this pertains not only to health but other problems in society. Third would be, of course, modeling and prediction or predictive. Okay? And then fourth, I think that you are trying to address now is the person-to-person interaction. And so it looks like AI, as you are using and developing it in Manila, is going to be a companion technology of our medical or health workers, not just the MDs, but also the nurses, the physical therapists, the psychiatrists, psychologists, hospital staff. So, well, given this whole range of activities that could benefit from AI in the clinics, first I'd like to know um, the cost of this kind of technology, because we always measure cost to benefit when we're looking at innovations. And actually, I'm aware, Michael, of the huge budgets that your programs require at present. In one case, I saw a budget of 400 million pesos. Of course, the Picari budget then was also huge. Anyway, so that kind of analysis, because return on investment or return on value is what we would like to look at for innovative projects. Okay? So, and then the second question I would have would be whether you are embarking already on a massive and deep training of the health workers in the use of AI. And in regard to that, I'd like to just reiterate one of our highly respected ethicists in UP Manila in the country, Dr. Marita Reyes, about the use of AI ethically. One aspect is privacy, but there are many other aspects. And we know that in many instances, one set of data may not be entirely applicable to other broader majority of cases. And to me, that process of data gathering, data usage, data analytics, uh, interpretation, and then simplification, to me, that process is very critical. And every step of the way requires good training of the developers, the users, and the communicators. So, those are some of my questions. And before I ask you to reply, I just like to recognize the presence of some of our participants today. As we mentioned already, Dr. Jojo Mantari is here, and other important medical specialists are in the audience. And I know that some of them are based in the United States and were alerted about your talk by UPMAS leader, Dr. Billy Caballon, although I do not see him in the audience at present. So those are questions, Michael. Our format is that Alvin and I ask a few questions and then we open the floor to the participants to ask their questions. So, Michael,
Yes, ma'am.
just a few comments. Yes. On
Ma'am,
your question.
for the training, I I think there are already moves to institute a course that would teach our students about AI. So there's a data science course that will be introduced in UP Manila soon. We are looking at the program, and we will be evaluating them soon for endorsement to the University Council, and then to the BOR for approval. So I know that it has been presented to the Executive Committee of the Chancellor 2 months ago, or 2 to 3 months ago, with Vice Chancellor Nimia Simbulan sponsoring the presentation. So that's one. Another would be in many projects that have been implemented in relation to AI or computer or assisted uh, technology assisted projects. Our output would also include people, publication, policies, products, and people. Because during these times that we are developing such products, our research assistants are gaining experience as well as training together with our own expert. So that is one way that we are increasing the number of experts in the field. So, ma'am, that's my short answer.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Okay.
And maybe Alvin can ask
Yes.
a few questions.
Yeah. Before we give Al the question, I would like to ask Doc Michael. No? We know very well that AI algorithms are based on data, right? Um, my worry and concern is that the data that are used in health in AI based algorithms or for healthcare systems might have historical data that reflects some existing biases in healthcare. For example, the disparities in the various treatment across demographics, where this data will be used to train your AI, and therefore the result would actually reflect some biases with that. So how do you ensure that in AI, especially those that are used in health care applications, would not actually would be free of a bias, because otherwise it would just it will perpetuate the bias. It's likely to be again more favorable to certain demographics or certain population, and this is really an issue of again equity and maybe fairness. No? So how do you address that, Dr. T, especially in your work that you have done or currently doing? Thank you.
Yeah, sir, thank you for that question. That is actually central in all developments. So there has to be a standard, a rigorous standard where you define the disease that you are looking at. For instance, in our federated learning for brain tumor, the data has to be validated. Let us say you have an MRI, then that's just the picture, that's the image. But you cannot say that it is cancer or not unless you have the validated pathology report. So the pathology report is gold standard. So that allows you to say that this image is truly this pathology. So now you have the balance of something that you can predict based on validated reports. So that's just an example for diagnostics. That is the same for the X-ray. You have the image, and then a clinician validated red pneumonia, for instance, or pneumothorax. So you don't get data which are questionable, because questionable data can lead to garbage in, garbage out. So we don't want garbage. We want golden inputs so that you have a golden output. So that's probably the
Okay.
way to do it, sir.
Yeah, so that means we really have to set the standards. There should be a body, to do that. Because if the research is being done by UPCM, that's good, no? At UP, you observe this highly ethical and judicious use of proper data or really accurate data. But how about the other developers of similar, they may not be true to those highly, ethical practices that they have to observe, especially in healthcare, So I think the standards, there has to be a body that should look at, the applications of AI in healthcare, because this is a very, very, delicate, issue. And of course, if we rely on advice from AI-based healthcare, then we have to make sure that the data are that these algorithms were based from were really, accurate. They're really verified. But anyway, that's just an input to the work. Okay.
Sure.
So maybe
Can I
Giselle, we
react to
can
that?
call on.
Sure. Can I react to that first? Because
Yeah, sure.
you're giving us very important points. And this invitation from Ma'am Gisela is a good forum, because we are talking to scientists. We're talking to the National Academy of Science and Technology leaders. And it is incumbent upon us to now recommend, make a position paper on AI. That is a challenge to the audience of this group and to the leaders of PAASE. Let's do this. And then
Okay.
ask our Department of DICT to create or to base a recommendation for an executive order similar to what President Biden did in the United States, because now there will be a guideline. This will be a law that you cannot just do AI. If you do an AI that is contrary to this law or this guideline, then that's garbage. But if the National Academy of Science and Technology says, sir, this is the guideline that we'd like you to write an EO about, then the 1 hour that we spent today is well spent. Thank you, sir.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Micheal. We can discuss more about that. Excellent. Can I now call on corresponding member, Dr. Al Sarafika? Al, the
Okay.
floor is yours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Congratulations.
Yes, we can hear you.
Chancellor Micheal, I'm really excited for seeing your presentation today, considering that it actually intersects a lot of the activities that I'm doing, especially now. I was actually just in Citrus in Berkeley, talking to the Citrus group of Maria Banatao. And of course, there was a Center for AI Analysis very early on in health. That was I interested in. Of course, I met with Carlito Librilla from UC Davis. And again, part of the effort is for us to look at exactly what has happened with the PICARI project and what can we then advance. But that's just the background on where I'm coming from. Definitely, I have just given a talk on AI in education last week at the DTI Industry Digital Transformation Conference, where we already speak of the National AI Safety in London. That was just formed 2 weeks or a month ago when the Prime Minister of the UK actually convened all the industry and various players in AI. Of course, thank you for sharing us the executive order of President Biden in the US. Clearly, these are existing guidelines that we really have to incorporate. But the number one agency, for lack of a better word, that would be regulating AI in health would be the FDA. So that's where we actually at the NAS tried to convene about 3 weeks ago with Jimmy and inviting Dr. Sam of the FDA to look at the drug aspect of development in the Philippines. Unfortunately, he didn't show up. But clearly, the AI application is really coming fast and furious. And I can't help but agree with you that, one, we have to be front and center for this in order for us to catch the wave. And with an open mind, hopefully you already have started that program. But my fear is that all our efforts, not much different from the CBOL projects, and by the way, your consultant for UP system, TTBDO for the last 10 years. So I was with Ewang during the break of the pandemic, looking at diagnostic and devices, which is my specialty, having my own medical device company in the US for 17 years. A lot of it got blocked on the regulatory front, Chancellor Micheal. So, of course, Chancellor Menchit was very aggressive in trying to get it in a research clinical setting, which allows us to use it just the same, not much different from the RX box. But clearly for mass utilization and dissemination to the different healthcare facilities, we need to solve the regulatory issue. And clearly, indeed, I think it's a all hands on deck between the academic communities like yours. I'm already in touch with HSI of LaSalle, of course, having worked with Alvin and the whole LaSalle community as well. We're trying to look at indeed the whole diagnostic front of HSI specialties. And of course, I work with Pres Naval of UP Diliman, looking at potential applications not only in aquatics, but I also mentor 2 startups looking at veterinary use of AI, thermal imaging for ASF, that activity. And in all of these efforts, similar to yours, the big elephant in the room is how are we going to get it approved in earnest, given that one, there's no guideline indeed, not from the regulatory body. Hopefully, we can ask Herbosa, Secretary from DOH, to actually craft the guideline for AI and health as a potential advancement. But definitely, how do you plan to, of course, involving us in NAST and PAASE will be very, very fruitful in that regards. But I think we need to make sure that we invite and have a dialogue as early as possible with DOH and the FDA for this matter, together with NAST and of course, UP Manila. And it's not something that is within your capacity now with our help. And if the answer is no, what would it take for us to do that? Thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, sir. Thank you very much. Because now that you are directing me, then I will have the impetus to organize a workshop. Let us organize a face-to-face workshop in UP Manila. Please guide me whom to invite. And then we'll make a workshop output where there is a guideline on the development and utilization of AI. First in healthcare, let's have small bites. First in healthcare and public health. Healthcare and public health. And I will rely on the advice of Ma'am Gisela on whom to advise and whom to invite. And then maybe those of our alumni, our scientists who are abroad can join us virtually. Using whiteboard in Zoom meeting, we'll have maybe an 8-hour workshop. We'll come in prepared. Let's define using maybe the outline that I already presented. Use this as a basis for that development. Let's all make the executive order. Let's ask a lawyer to join us. Make the executive order, submit it to the executive secretary for fanning out. And then we would have accomplished something very important for our nation.
I think I agree with you. Just tell me where and when. I'll be there.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Dr.
Michael,
Torres,
and our,
his hands, ma'am.
Yes. Before I call Dr. Torres, he's been raising his hand. It's a good idea, Michael and Al. And the person from the DICT who's in charge of our national AI roadmap is Monchito Ibrahim, who is an executive member of the National Innovation Council. And he has been holding workshops on our national AI roadmap. I think it would be good to have him speak at this workshop that you're planning for January.
We are planning. We will do this together.
Yes, absolutely.
And I
remember,
see you person to person, just
of
like
course. Yes, that's the whole idea. And you'll note that in this fireside chat series that we're hosting, we always remind you, everyone, every speaker, every participant, that the NIC is open to position papers that could be the basis for policies as you think would be important for AI in healthcare in relation to ethical use and addressing privacy matters, and also uh, social equity. So I think in light of UP's mandate, Doctor to the Barriers program should be a top priority, Michael, of the AI applications. Okay? So the health and medical concerns of marginalized communities would be good. So modeling, say, the use of AI for various applications in a cooperative LGU who would co-create with you would be very good. So at this point, I would like to call Dr. Pablo Torre. Yes, Dr. Torre.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, sir.
Yes.
Hi, Michael. Very good, very great, very good lecture. I was pleasantly surprised that you've actually gone to this level. I thought I was going to listen to somebody saying that we are going to start, but you've actually started a lot quicker and a lot sooner. So congratulations to your team. My question is one from a practical side of it. The programs using VR and artificial intelligence that you have developed in UP Manila, is that now going to be available to the rest of the country? In other words, other hospitals, other doctors, etc., etc. And if that's question number one. Question number two, as far as education is concerned, medical education, nursing education, let me take nursing education for one, because I'm sure you're very familiar with medical education. We know that there is a shortage of nursing staff, educators, teaching in nursing schools, which is actually bringing down the problem of lower enrollment in some schools because they cannot get teachers. So my question is, are you in the process of, or are you doing it already, as far as VR and clinical simulators are concerned, trying to develop this and making it available to nursing schools around the country?
Sure. Number one, yes, we are already making this available all over the country through the help of CHED Chair Prospero J. De Vera III. He has been helping us in this project and also helping the other schools by providing seed fund. Just yesterday in the Senate, the seed fund was approved. An increase in the seed fund was approved as a seed fund for opening new colleges. Because from 8 colleges of medicine last year, there are now 19 SUCs with colleges of medicine. So that's number one. And we are, through the Lakas project, we are doing a guidebook on the use of simulation-based education that can be implemented by all the other schools whom we have been helping by showing them the College of Medicine and College of Nursing curriculum. So that's the first answer. The next answer is, for the shortage of nurses, CHED, together with the Private Sector Advisory Council of President Bongbong Marcos and PSAC, that's PSAC and CHED and Department of Health, is creating a bridging system, a bridge program, number one. Number two would be a short master's degree program that will be presented this month to the CHED. It has been ongoing development for the past 6 weeks. 6 weeks, yes, sir, 6 weeks, because that is the presidential directive that came 6 weeks ago. Sir, I'm being called by the president of UP already, so I have to leave. Yeah. It's a PAC. I'm sorry, but I hope I
Yes.
was able to answer
Yes.
the question.
Yeah, it's a schedule of your PAC meetings, and it might be your
Yes, ma'am.
first, Michael, as a UP Manila Chancellor. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have to let our speaker go. He's got a
Okay.
very, very tall
Yeah.
order.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Good job.
Just one. I just
Yeah.
want to
Sige,
read
sige.
a
Let's
question
ano
from
na
the chat box, Michael. But this is a very comprehensive. At what stage is the Philippines now in tackling AI challenges in healthcare as it pertains to diagnosis, precision medicine, and prediction models leveraging? So, just a question that I think you can take with you as you go to your PAC meeting. Thank you very much, Chancellor Michael, for a very, very engaging and very inspiring presentation today. And we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you in January for that workshop. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Will we let Chancellor Michael go now? I think we should. All right.
Okay.
So, Alvin, I think we will be ending here, and we will just ask very informative. It's now going on there. Nice to know. That is from Felicitas Santiago. So at this point, we will request well, Fred, it's Clara's who's in charge of all the mechanics for these fireside chat meetings with the PAASE. We thank her for her support, and we'd like to announce that next Friday we have another important speaker. Today, we learned about the applications of AI, but many of you even know that AI is very expensive. Actually, it requires the use of advanced chips, okay, chips, and also energy storage or batteries. So you think about AI being accurate and predictive, you need to store a lot of data. And that's one of the other questions I wanted to ask Chancellor Mike, but maybe we can ask instead our speaker next Friday, Dr. Joey Ocon of the UP College of Engineering in Diliman. He's a chemical engineer. He's a pioneer in developing new batteries for energy storage. So today, between the United States and other leading countries in the world, we know that the country, that's the United States, that controls the AI innovation technologies, is leading because it's got the resources to build the advanced chips that will be required for AI for every possible application. Thing is, in the Philippines, we do have some precious materials like green metals that are important in the production of batteries for storing energy. But that's something that may be discussed at greater length at the Fireside Chat next Friday. So please join us in this Fireside series. We have speakers lined up until February of next year. And huwag na kayo magsasawa. I know sometimes kumukonti yung ating attendees. But for some reason, people ask, are interested in the topics. Just know that all of these events are recorded and they can be watched and listened to in the recordings that are found in the PAASE website. So nothing is lost. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And we always end with a slide saying that we are actually preparing for next year's call for grant proposals. They may be limited funds, not the ones that some of our research groups in UP received from the DOST or even from CHED or from the CARI. But we are actually conducting this Fireside Chat series to draw out the innovators in our country who may already be at the stage where they can be presented to private investors. Okay? So we would like to alert you about innovation grant proposals that will be available for you next year. Second would be papers on Philippine SME innovation. And this is where you can write any position paper or commentary that is useful for innovation. It could be made the basis for innovation policies. Okay? Third is we're always addressing the barriers to innovation, and we would like to hear your proposed solutions to these barriers. One of which we know is procurement for R&D, or difficulty or lack of ease of doing the business of innovation in our country. So all of you are welcome to contribute to this innovation movement that is now growing in our country. So with that, I would like to thank everyone, especially my co-host Alvin, and our speaker today, Dr. Micheal L, for sharing with us knowledge, know-how, and all the comments and questions that are relevant to the topic of healthcare in the age of AI. We'd also like to thank our participants for their valuable comments, questions, and suggestions. Alvin, you have the last word.
So, Alvin, you're muted po.
I'd like to recognize the presence of Dr. Marge Peña, a biomedical researcher in the University of South Carolina, who's a newly elected vice president.
Thank you,
PAASE
Giselle.
president.
Again, us today. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, Alvin. Go ahead. Okay, we're saying goodbyes, and I just recognize.
Yeah, thank you, Giselle. Again, we just would like to thank everyone for joining us again in this another.
Okay, thank you. We're losing you, Alvin. All right, so Feb, I think it's all right for us to end now. I just wanted to say hello to Dr. Marge Peña, who is with us.
Hi, Giselle and Alvin. Just thanks for hosting this every time.
Yeah,
Really very
congratulations. Congratulations,
thanks.
Marge. Looking
Yeah.
forward to your leadership in PAASE.
Yeah, I had some comments on it because I review a lot of grants here for AI. But yeah, next time. Okay.
Next time.
AI.
All right.
So
Okay.
we'll see you again next week on another.
Just to remind you, it's Thanksgiving here next week. Yeah, so.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, see you. Okay.
See ya. Bye-bye. We'll end now.
Happy